What's up, YouTube? We're out working on the 62 Bel Air Wagon today, and I've about got this frame ready to pull out from underneath this body. I need to take this front end off. That's not going to be too big of a deal. These fenders are already unbolted. I just pretty much pull them out. Now the only thing holding this thing on is the two front bolts in the front. All the other ones are undone. So as you can see here, I need to do a little bit of work to the body mounts. That one's ate up. That's the worst one. And all these bolts, they broke off, so I'm going to have to do work there. As you can see, my frame is trashed back here. And I've taken the rear bumper off, and all this is going to need work. These are the body mount bolts. We're going to have to do work on there. Of course, we got some rust issues there we're going to have to straighten out. So I'm still kind of brainstorming exactly how I want to do this. I've got this thing jacked up already. I think what I'm going to do is kind of raise up on the body and put it on jack stands, 2x4s, or whatever I need to do to get the body up off of the frame, and then I can lower the frame down. But I like this height. I really want to keep the body at this height so I can work underneath there. So I've got a one-piece floor section, and my theory is I was going to try to bring it in from the side, but I think what I'm actually do is I'm going to come in here and slide it in from underneath. Now of course I've got to cut out this rear pan and part of the floor section that's still in the car. And take a look at it here. Still need to cut that out. Now once I get the frame out from underneath this thing, I can get to those spot welds up there along the bottom of the firewall. And then we can come in here and cut these spot welds out here. Alright, so as you can see, we got the fenders and the inner fenders out on the front end. And that's really all you need to take off. You can take that hood off if you want, but you don't have to take it off. But that's what you're going to have to do body-wise to separate the body from the frame. And the only thing we have holding this body onto this frame are these two bolts here, this one and the one on the other side, and actually the weight of the car. So what my plans are is I'm going to take these 4x4s, run them underneath long ways on these outer rockers here on both sides. And then I think the easiest way we can do it with the way we have it set up right now is we're going to take an engine hoist. We're going to pick up on this frame section on the front here, lift the entire car up. We're going to take those stands out. We're going to put them underneath the ends of the 4x4s on this end. Then we're going to come back here to the back. We're going to jack up the frame. We're going to take those stands out. We're going to put those stands underneath this end of the 4x4. And then we're going to lower it down, and at that point we should be able to lower the frame down and drag it out from underneath the car. So before you go and doing all this, you do want to make sure you have everything disconnected. You know, all your wiring, your heater hoses. You've got a couple wires down here at the starter. Pretty much on this side it's just wiring and hoses. So over on this side you want to make sure you got your brakes undone. I've got my entire master cylinder just took off for the time being. You've got your steering linkage here that you need to undo. You got your accelerator pedal, you need to undo that. And you got a couple of wires over here, and you got your speedometer cable you need to undo, and then you got your parking brake cable you need to undo, and pretty much that and your 8 body mount bolts, and you're pretty much ready to go. So if you got pretty good luck, you can get all 8 of them out without breaking any, but I broke 6 of my 8. The only 2 that I've managed to salvage are these 2 front ones, so that's not a big deal. I just broke the heads off. I'm just gonna have to do work on it, you know, when it comes to that point. So this is how we're sitting right now. So the next step is to go ahead and get this body off the frame. All right, so we got the cherry picker here hooked up to the front frame section. We got it lifted up, and we've got those our jack stands out from underneath, and we got our boards up and everything. Now this center block and this jack stand back here, now that's not going to hold any weight. We just basically have that on there for the 4x4 to stay in place while we're doing our jacking. And Scott's over here helping me. Scott, Delray JYD, he's here helping me, and we're going to get this thing done today. You get to see us trying this out, see how well it works. We're going to do the back with just jacks, floor jacks. We got a couple heavy duty floor jacks we're going to do this with. Here's Scott. Scott's over here, and yeah, we're gonna get this thing done. It might look a little shady right now, but it's not gonna be too bad. Just don't worry about those. Don't worry about the blocks and the jack stand thing. That's not gonna hold any weight there. Alright, so as you can see, we got the body off of the frame. We got it up on our 4x4s and our jack stands. And it's pretty sturdy the way you see it here. And it's pretty level. I might have to do a little bit of shimming to get it, you know, perfect, but it's really close to being really level. And if you see back here, I mean, I know this might look a little bit shady, but it's not really holding any weight back here. This is just to kind of keep it from teeter-tottering. So here's our frame that we took out from underneath this car. And the main issues that I had with this frame was it has quite a bit of rust, especially in the back here. A lot of rust. As you can see where the body mount bolts go, the holes are completely ate up. And you can see there's rust on top of the rails here. And a lot of this, of course, you couldn't see with it underneath the car. You see we got a spot here. But check out these back rails here. They were just completely ate up. Now, I pretty much hacked these off, getting the bumper off on the rear. But it's all twisted up and rusted up like this. I mean, it's pretty rusty. And then, as you can see here on the inside of the rails, really rusty. And I had actually come in here and patched this thing so I could kind of drive it around and just kind of test it out when I first bought this thing. And I had some trouble getting in there, so the wheels weren't that great, but it served its purpose. But we got some issues back there. Up front, it looked pretty good. I did notice there was a crack right there that I didn't notice before. Kind of hard to see. And then we got some rust issues up front here. So that was the main reason why I wanted to pull this frame out. You know, I've got another frame, and I had bought another frame as soon as I realized this one was rusty. And I've got it all squared away. It's all, you know, nice and fresh painted, nut and bolt restored. Got disc brakes on it already, at least on the rear. The front disc brakes are still on here. I'm going to swap those over. But I've actually already got my drivetrain in there. And what the drivetrain is, it is a LS1 5.7 liter engine out of a Camaro 4L60 automatic. And I have a brand new drive shaft with a solid support in the middle. And it's got a slip yoke in the back. and it is a stock rear end. Pretty much want to set this car up to where I can take it across country if I want to California. It's going to have power disc brakes. It's going to forward disc brakes all the way around. Power steering, AC. So it's going to be set up as a driver. Of course, we're going to have to address some of these rust issues on here. And we got some body mount work that we're going to have to do underneath here. You can see our bolts broke off. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this floor pan section out right here. And we'll cut all this out. And I've got a one-piece floor pan section, like I've stated before. And I think we're just going to slide it right up in here. And then we should be able to get that in pretty easily. So the next step that I'm going to actually start working on now is getting this floor pan section out. This rear pan and what's left of the center section. So if you've enjoyed this project, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Click on the bell so you'll get the notifications. Like, share, comment below. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram.